There we go. Muted. Back in the win column. Oh my gosh, that was such a fun game. It was a good game too. It was, a lot of back and forth, a lot of chances for both teams. Exciting, fun game to watch. And then obviously Kraken get another big win. Just talking yesterday, right? Like we would totally take 2 points out of these back-to-back games against these Florida teams. Got that one tonight from Florida. First team to beat them on their home ice this season. Panthers had been 15-0 in their last 15 home games. I mean, this was a game that the Kraken kind of weren't supposed to win, certainly in the eyes of the Florida announcers, because I watched the away team stream again with the sound on this time. That is clearly the difference. We're 3 for 3 when that happens. Um, and, I do think that there was maybe some thoughts that the Kraken were going to come in. Oh, this team, they only got 6 wins or whatever, and the Panthers were going to take care of business at home. But that's when they get you. Um, Fantastic game all around. Obviously, lots of big stuff to talk about. Chris Drieger, really first good game as a member of the Kraken all season long, including preseason. That's huge. Revenge game for him as well. So that was awesome to see. Got Will Borgen, free Will Borgen. It happened. He was in there and he played really well, I thought. He was jumping in on offense, helping out there. He handled some, pressures defensively in zone with the puck, and he wasn't, committing turnovers and stuff. Some of the stuff we've, been complaining about with Lauzon. Borgen looked fantastic. The whole team looked good. Eberle scoring some goals again. That's awesome to see. Donato back being in the lineup. He got that tip in, and they took away the one from Alexiak because Donato tipped it in, and then Alexiak that's basically the longest goal you can possibly score, right? From that far behind your own goal line, from behind your own net there. Like, you just physically can't score a goal from further away. But Alexiak gets it done in the empty net there. It was a lot of fun to watch this game, and really exciting. And I can tell everybody else is super excited too. Chat is going off. That is awesome to see. 36 in here, but only 5 likes. Come on, everybody. We can do better than that. All right, let's see. Todd first. Yes, you did. You did comment first. Mo Maggot, what a game. It was a fantastic game. Had a blast watching this one, and to get back in the win column, especially after that one last night. There we go. 10 likes just like that. Awesome, guys. Let this one be known as the Eberle Donskoy Borgen game. Go Kraken. Yes, Eberle got those couple goals. Donskoy, he's back. He was making things happen. Got a couple assists in there. He looked really good. Again, some good goal, chances. Still not going in for him. Don't know when that's going to happen, but gosh, he's working hard at it. And then Borgen, he played a fantastic game. Will Borgen, good to see him in the lineup. Got into that tussle a little bit after he, threw that one in, a little post whistle. That was fun to see. He was all smiles after, well, really during and after that. You can tell he was excited to be in there and he wanted to make the most of his opportunity there. Drieger revenge game. That's from Hunter. Yes, it was, and he played fantastic. I mean, he made some big time saves, especially, really throughout the game, but especially in like late in that first period when the Panthers were really pouring it on. His glove looked fantastic tonight. He was able to snatch everything. Rebound control was really excellent. And maybe got lucky a couple times. Some Panthers maybe missing the net, that kind of stuff. But I think that's something that that happens, right? How many times have we seen that go the other way with the Kraken, right? They just miss some chances. Happened again. Yanni Gord had that one where he could have maybe tipped it and he just went wide, and even he was just like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? But that's one of those things that it was going against the Kraken for a really long time, those kinds of fluky things, or those, just bad luck plays, and they're starting to go in for the Kraken now. Really awesome. And also Kraken taking advantage of some turnovers, getting some odd man rushes, right? Get a couple goals off the other team's defensive breakdowns. That was nice to see. Situations like that going in our favor this time. That was awesome. But yes, just lots and lots of positives from this one. Rexology Geeky Squad power continues. Was not able to get back home last night in time to wear it, so it's now 3-0. It's Rexology's Geeky Squad shirt. Awesome. So 3-0 with the Geeky Squad shirt for Rexology. 3-0 when I'm watching the away team's broadcast with sound. I think that was the problem yesterday against the Lightning, was I had it muted because we were doing the live commentary. Thanks to everybody who was around from that for that. Alex, hello from Sunrise. Hey, Alex. Been at both of these games. Good for you, making that Florida trip. Finally made one of these lives again. That's from Trips. Awesome to have you here. Nathan, Drigger's revenge game, also a good one. Yeah, he was on it tonight. It was really, really fun. Lindsay, big Kraken win. Go Drigger. Yes, for sure. Hunter, hashtag freed Will Borgen. Yes, we did. And again, he just looks so poised. And I think that was impressive considering, he sat out 20 games to start this season. Obviously, he's kind of been in the coaching doghouse. And, everybody's known that. It's been pretty public, right? And for him to come out and look like, he did, again, the poise under pressure in his own zone when handling the puck. He always had someone on him, and he was making good decisions with it. He wasn't panicking at all, stepping up offensively, pinching in a couple times. That was fun to see too. And I thought his shot looked pretty good tonight too. So that was good. Hopefully this becomes a regular occurrence for him in the lineup, because I definitely think he earned the spot after this one. Yeah, Borgen looked great. That's from Scott. Striatic broke his old team's attempt at an NHL home win streak. Now that is revenge. Drieger, yes, coming in there. Obviously, still beloved by a lot of members of that full Florida Panthers team. Maybe not so much now, at least not for the rest of today. But it was good to see Ty no longer the basement of the Pacific onto Buffalo. Yes, I mean, you combine this with those last couple games at home before the road trip, that Capitals game, the Carolina game. Yes, didn't get the win yesterday in Tampa, but we all thought the team played pretty good still, and Tampa's a really gosh darn good team, so it happens. Go into Florida where that team is on fire at home, get a win there. Then we got Buffalo and Detroit to finish up this little road swing. If you can move on and get like 3 points out of those next two games, really stringing things together, really climbing back up the standings, and all of a sudden you're kind of getting more back into the mix of everything. This is why the sample sizes, it's hard early in the season, one bad streak and everything looks doom and gloom, but starting to break out of it now. And I think we can all take some confidence in the fact that they look like they can go up against anybody and at least hang in there, and for a while that didn't look like it was going to be the case, so I'm happy to see that. That empty net goal is from Omagat. Yes, that was awesome. You could tell Alexiak was also maybe a little surprised too. Obviously, you're just in that situation, you're checking it down there and hoping for the best. But it was impressive to see more Borgen, more Drieger. I think we're going to see that from based on tonight, for sure. All the more Borgen chat stuff for sure. Massive win. That's from Dane. It was make sure you're not starting another losing streak. I think that was something that was maybe in the back of all of our minds last night after the loss in Tampa, but definitely not the case, right? That's good to see. They're keeping the positive momentum. Borgen is the answer. I mean, he certainly helped out a lot tonight. The Florida commenter said Tanev needs a haircut. That's from Hunter. Yes, I was going to bring that up. That was really, really awesome. He said he didn't, not just that he needed a haircut, that he was in desperate need of a haircut. Brandon Tanev, can you believe that? Oh my gosh. I'd hate to hear what he has to say about my hair too. It was pretty funny though when he brought that up. Awesome win. That's from Jared. Kraken franchise record for longest goal with that empty netter. That's from Lindsay. Yeah, and that might be a record that never gets broken, because it would be pretty hard just to tie it, much less get any further away. I like that. Florida just swarms the puck. That was an impressive win. That's from Shane. Yeah, so we talked about them a little bit yesterday, kind of the differences between the Lightning and the Panthers. The Panthers are a lot more aggressive with their forwards, especially in the offensive zone, their forecheck, and then maybe a little bit more complacent defensively. We saw the Kraken had a lot easier time with zone entries tonight and a lot easier time just cycling the puck around the offensive zone. They were able to do that tonight, and it helped them out, right? We got a lot of chances off of stuff like that. Their passing was crisp, and they were able to get some stuff going, get some good looks in a way that they were not able to against Tampa. Also, more shots from the blue line. Florida wants to let you have those perimeter shots. Maybe they shouldn't on that one that was deflected in by Donato. That's part of the trade-off for forcing the team to take those perimeter shots is you open yourself up to that, and the Kraken were able to capitalize. So it was in some ways kind of what we expected from Florida, and the Kraken seemed to expect it too, and they were ready for it, and they took advantage of it. So that was definitely good to see. So Lauzon gets scratched and then the Kraken win. Coincidence? I think not. Yes, I saw lots of Incredibles gifs from that from the teacher at Dash's school with that line on Twitter during this game. Love to see it. And yes, there might be something there. Face-off percentage, that's from Nathan. I have no idea. Like, we knew the Kraken had the potential to be a good face-off team. They'd shown that throughout the course of the season. Tonight was like they just annihilated them in the faceoff dot. I mean, it wasn't until the third period that Wenberg lost a faceoff, and he was like 9 for 9 going into that, I think. I have no idea what was going on there. Obviously, Florida's missing Barkov, but at the same time, like, they're still a good team that should be able to handle that. That didn't. So yeah, I don't know what was going on with Florida, but the Kraken did an excellent job on the faceoff dot tonight, and that was huge for them. Seeing some comments asking where RJ is. RJ is not going to be able to make it for this one. He is actually at a family function today, so it's just going to be me for this post game, unfortunately. But that's what's up there. Yeah, Borgen looks solid. The D pairs seemed all right tonight. That's from Rexology. Yeah, I don't know. I sometimes have questions about the Dunn-Larson pairing. That's one that I just think, I don't know. They don't seem to complement each other very well because they kind of sometimes have similar strengths. That being said, there wasn't anything too disastrous. I will say on the one Florida goal, the one by Patrick Hornquist, that is on Vince Dunn. Patrick Hornquist is, one of the best net front players in the NHL. He's been valued like that by plenty of clubs everywhere he goes. Obviously, when he went to the Penguins, that was like what they got him for. That was part of the James Neal trade, actually. They gave up a 40-goal scorer to get somebody like him as part of the package back because they knew they needed that net front presence and somebody who was good there. So he's always one of those guys that when you're playing against him, you need to know he's going to want to be net front for rebounds and to tip the puck. You gotta clear him out of there. And Vince Dunn just kind of settled in behind him, and he was just kind of giving him little taps in the back. And it's like, that is not how you handle that situation. You gotta get up alongside him and force him out of the way. Something we saw Hayden Fleury and Carson Soucy do really, really well yesterday in that Tampa Bay game. They were getting alongside guys. They were forcing them just enough out of the way that it gave Grubauer a full line of sight on everything, and it takes away their opportunity to tip in the puck. So that was the one thing I will say is on that one goal, I'll put the blame on Vince Dunn for not doing a great job of clearing Hornquist out of there, just because that's what Hornquist wants to do, and whether it's Hornquist or anybody really, you need to get side by side with them and kind of use your body to lean them out of the way and take them out of the play there. So that is something that Vince Dunn can work on. Obviously, he's more known for his offensive play than his play in his own zone. But again, that's an easy fix. That's a coachable thing. Go run some drills tomorrow in practice or whatever, and you can work on it. So that was good. Alex, big rig goal. Yeah, I know because you could tell how happy he was earlier, and then they took that first goal away and gave it to Donato because of the tip. So it was good to see Alexiak still get his first goal of the season tonight, even if it had to happen twice for him. Yes, defense played really well without Gio. Yeah, I think you know Gio's been up and down a little bit this season. Certainly, I think it's safe to say he hasn't been the Gio of old so far this season. But having Lauzon out of the lineup, bringing in Will Borgen looking as good as he did, Hayden Fleury playing as well as he's played the last two nights, Susi continuing his solid play. I really like where the defense is at right now a lot. I have a lot of confidence in this group moving forward, and especially if the goalies are going to be heating up. We know Grubauer's been heating up the last week or so. Looks like Drieger might be back now, so that is awesome to see. Hunter, power play and penalty kill looking great lately. Yes, all that practice time that they've been spending on the special teams definitely looks like it is paying off for them. Really happy to see that. They kind of, we've all heard the practice reports from RJ, right? They were kind of putting it off maybe for a little while. They thought, oh, maybe things will change on their own. Didn't quite happen. Started working on the power play a little bit more in practice. You also get a guy like Marcus Johansson back, who has been very instrumental in getting the power play going, and it was nice to see it all continue again yesterday. That little bit of worry that things were going to stop, all the momentum, the positive gains the Kraken had been making might be stopped with that loss yesterday, but nope, team totally put that loss behind them, on to the next one, and they were right back to looking like this really good team that we've seen the last week. Kraken 1-0 all time with Will Borgen. That is correct, Tom. They are undefeated with Will Borgen in the lineup, and that is definitely something we should continue to push, just so we make sure he gets to stay in the lineup a little while longer. Drieger was doing his best Grubauer impression. That's from Jared. I like that. Yeah, certainly he was, doing a really good job seeing the puck through traffic. I thought that was impressive tonight from him, and his rebound control was really, really solid as well. So hopefully those are, it's a good sign of things to come for him, and he can start heating up too. It'll be really awesome if both those guys can get hot. That'll really help make up for when they were both a little on the cool side. Donskoy was unreal tonight. Great game. That's from Lindsay. Donskoy was fantastic. Again, I just don't know when the goals are going to come for him. Feel so bad, but yes, after he was one of the guys we talked about last night. Maybe okay, he looked okay, but seemed to disappear at times. Definitely noticed him tonight. He was making good plays. Really all over the ice. He had some solid defensive efforts too. Really, really good to see that he's back in that regard, because he's just a really fun player to watch. Donato was fantastic tonight. That's from Trips. He was obviously that tip, and just again, his willingness to go to the net. Not a lot of guys on this team are super. And I don't want to say they're unwilling, but their style of game isn't really to just kind of power your way to the net the way his is, and kind of power to behind the net. And I like seeing that, and I do think it is something that is valuable to this Kraken lineup, is when Donato's in there and doing that. Geeky and Winnie face-off was above pay grade. That's from Scott. Yeah, their face-offs, like I said, I don't know what was up tonight. Obviously, the Kraken looked good. I don't want to take anything away from them, but I mean, at some point, you also got to look at Florida and just go like, were you guys even trying? Because it didn't quite seem like it, based on how things ended up. Nathan referencing Donskoy, him getting in the zone on that first Eberle goal, then the amazing assist to boot. What a performance. Yeah, he was all over tonight. A couple assists for Donskoy, and he earned them. He was really helping getting the offense going for sure. Huge win, phenomenal game from Drieger for sure. Michael Striatic, plug the merch. Yes, I was going to. Waiting for the numbers to get up again, and we are at 50, so I will plug the merch here. And I will remind everybody, obviously, link in the description below. And right now, our Black Friday sale is still going on through the weekend. So if you use the code ECH15, just all plugged in like that, no spaces or anything, ECH15, you can get 15% off your order through this weekend. So if you've been on the fence about anything, go ahead. Now's a good time to go check some stuff out and maybe pull the trigger there. If you just remembered somebody you forgot to get a present for, something like that, we got you covered. So go check out the merch link in the description below. Donskoy played well on the back check too. Dude was all over the place. Yes, Nathan just talked about that. Sorry, I'm behind. Everybody's been going off. I love it. Brian, who are your 3 stars for tonight? Eberle for sure, Drieger for sure, and then I want to say Will Borgen just because I want to really like reward him being in the lineup and everything. But Donskoy might get it. Donskoy or Alexiak. So I'd probably go Donskoy, but I could see it having been Alexiak. But Drieger and Eberle were pretty unreal tonight. Let's see. Donskoy did have an amazing dangle and look. Just maybe got a little excited on the shot. Lol, that's from Shane. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. The longer it goes, the more chances you're seeing, and it's not happening for you. You get a little. You do get a little excited. All those cliches start creeping in. You're gripping your stick a little tighter. All that stuff. But it's gonna happen. You can't play as well as he's playing and just go goalless all season long. Like, that just doesn't happen. Nobody's that unlucky while putting in that much effort. So, but glad to see that he's back. Lindsay, Drieger saving that breakaway was a huge turning point. Totally different game if that goes in. Yes. So, again, we talked about Kraken starting to capitalize on their lucky break chances. Saw a couple goals go in off of, odd man rushes, or maybe in the case of that second Eberle goal, certainly the turnover helped out a lot. But also the Kraken not being as unlucky on the few mistakes that they make, right? And you're referencing the breakaway. That was huge, and that's something that we've seen in the past go in almost like guaranteed for against the Kraken. And so to see both goalies really in the last week or so stepping up and making big saves in those opportunities, you can tell what it does for the team when they know that the goalie is that last line of defense and they have the confidence in them. Obviously, you don't want to be putting the goalie in that situation. It does mean that there was a mistake made at some point, but it does help you relax a little bit. You don't feel as pressured about it. So that is totally good to see. Nathan with the super chat. This super chat is dedicated to Will Borgen. Yeah, I mean, this whole stream should be dedicated to Will Borgen. So good to see him, and he played so well tonight. So, yes, and thank you very much for the super chat. That is very much appreciated, Nathan. Let's see, was I up here? Hunter, that's what can happen when you get quality starts from your goalies. Exactly right, Hunter. Both these goalies were too good not to have these starts start coming in, and it's great to have them. What's with Appleton? Is he still hurt? Weak game from him. I thought he played better than he played yesterday. There was a moment where, at least on the Florida broadcast, they did cut to him, and he was kind of, he was standing up, but kind of keeled over a little bit. He looked like he was in some pain. I didn't see like a shot block or anything that might have done that to him. My guess is he's still, still feeling some effects of that ankle injury, ankle or knee. Obviously we never knew for sure. Seemed like an ankle. That's going to be there for a little while. And then just the conditioning of being out for as long as he was is also something. You just got to get back used to the speed of everything and the endurance and everything. That being said, I thought he was okay tonight. He had a couple chances, couple looks in front, whiffed on a couple potential one-timers. That was a little rough to see, but I thought he did a good job in the offensive zone as part of the cycle and everything. Neither team looked like they were on the back end of back-to-back games. Yeah, no, both teams looked fresh. They certainly coming out in that first period. Both teams really, really wanted it. And, credit to Florida for really keeping their foot on the gas throughout that third period, at least up until the Alexiak empty netter, which, makes sense. But with 5 minutes left, it felt like the goalie was already pulled. They were in desperation mode, and it was one of those, you're just like, okay, just clear it, Kraken, just get it out of there, because it felt like the momentum might be building for Florida with those sustained pressures and all that stuff. And then you look down at the clock and you're like, oh my gosh, there's 5 minutes left. This is going to be difficult, but the Kraken handled it. They stayed poised. That's again what's been huge for me. That's what's been kind of missing, is them staying poised in situations, whether it's they get scored on first and then they're able to deal with it, or in this case, protecting a lead. Not necessarily something they've been used to doing in a while. It's been like a month since they've had to do it, but it was good to see that they could still do it, and handle that pressure, handle the 6-on-5, and look like they had it as much in control as you can. Let's see. Weak game from Appleton. Thought it was his best game, but he's the number 16 forward on the team. Yeah, he's down there a little bit, but yeah, I thought it was a good game from him. Hunter Borgen over Lauzon, yes. Scott Forchek was great, got in passing lanes but couldn't finish. Talking about Appleton, yeah, he did a good job tonight, I thought. Kraken had watched tape on Panthers. This is from Alex. They defended the Bennett wraparound play, which has worked multiple times already this season, and were sitting on the backhand passes to point. Yeah, it did look like the Kraken had watched tape both on the Panthers and of themselves. This was the first game where I felt like they were working on stuff, and that is appreciative. Obviously, we've been talking about that for a while through all of our Emerald City therapy sessions on here. So definitely happy to see that. But yes, they handled the Bennett play perfectly, especially because he had a guy open. If he'd made the pass, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Tippett. He had him open, and he decided to go for the wraparound instead. And it also looked like they were watching tape on the Huberdeau breakaway, because he went to his patented move that usually works, and Drieger was able to handle that. That kind of was it a backhand through the 5-hole there, and Drieger obviously swinging his right leg back around behind him, because it did get through the 5-hole, but he swung that back leg through and caught the puck before it could cross the goal line. That was pretty awesome to see. And but that's another play that is Huberdeau's go-to move, so Drieger was definitely ready for it. Hunter, Appleton looked good to me. Face-offs, yeah, they were on point. Joshua still knocking off some rust maybe, and took that shot to the ankle, but he was getting good chances in the third. That's from Joshua, I would assume referencing Appleton. I agree. Florida commentators on Tanev's do. Florida needs a shave. That's right. Any team with Joe Thornton's beard on it can't be talking about grooming habits, I feel like. That's a good one from Gunner. Grew long sleeve incoming. Thanks for the Black Friday deal, ECH. You're welcome, Nathan. Thanks so much for supporting us. With that, I will say we sold a lot of stuff yesterday. That was awesome to see. So thank you if you're out there and you were part of that. Shane, the only thing I really noticed tonight that needs work is some lazy passes in the defensive and neutral zones. Everything else was solid. There are still some of those, still some. I know Dunn had the opportunity to really catch. I'm trying to remember what forward it was. It was back in the first period. But Dunn had the opportunity to really catch a forward with momentum entering the zone from the neutral zone. And Dunn just kind of threw the puck into his skates. And it was just like, that would have been such a good look. Definitely want to see that, the tape to tape. There are a couple other times where pucks were maybe just a little too in front of guys for them to get a handle on it. But at the same time, I thought they handled things pretty well defensively. No glaring turnovers like we'd seen, certainly like last game. And so that was nice. Well, I guess there was that one in the first period, but yeah, no, definitely good. Mike McBob, better than Vancouver. I mean, we're certainly playing better than Vancouver right now. And I think that's something that we can all be happy about. Explain the Drieger revenge thing, please. Chris Drieger was with Florida last year, and he was the pick, the expansion draft pick from Florida by the Kraken, and he agreed to sign an extension in Seattle. So just because he was a member of the team last year, it's kind of a revenge game because he's going back to Florida to face his old team, all that kind of stuff, So that's what that's about. Drieger was awesome, smart at the end of Florida's first power play to freeze the puck. Yes, it was a smart move by him. Just kind of kill that momentum down and get the fifth player for the Kraken back on the ice right as the penalty was expiring, so they'd be out there for the face-off and you don't have to deal with it. Trying to, still dealing with the face-off 5v4 and try to make something happen there while you wait for him to come out of the penalty box. That was a really smart move. Thanks for bringing that up, Jason. Still a little too much dump and chase, resulting in a quick possession change when they could have carried the puck in for cleaner zone entries, but luckily it didn't hurt them. Yeah, I think a couple of those were just, again, dumping it in just so you can get the line change, especially like in the first period where possession was kind of slanted in Florida's favor. But I thought they did do a good job of improving on their zone entries from yesterday. Again, part of that's just you're not playing against that crazy aggressive and crazy talented Tampa blue line. But yeah, I agree with that, Lindsay. Appleton makes me nervous every time he's on the ice. That's from Jason. I mean, he is erratic. We knew that about him. We talked about that forever ago on this channel, and well before the expansion draft, when we were looking at guys that the Kraken could bring in. He is a player that there are times it is hard to tell what position he's playing just because he's all over the place. But at the same time, he has a knack for making things happen and for producing positive plays more often than negative ones. So, it works for him. There is a method to his madness. I just don't know that anyone knows what it is besides him. This is from John. Geeky killing those face-offs. He seems to be put in a lot just for those. My daughter loved watching the game. Well, I'm glad your daughter loved watching the game. And yeah, Geeky is kind of like a sneaky good face-off guy. That was one of the things noticed, when he was a little bit of a surprise pick from Carolina at the expansion draft. One of the things I noticed while researching him was he has a pretty solid face-off win percentage, and so that was evident tonight. Obviously, everyone on the Kraken did fantastic tonight, but yes, that is a kind of a sneaky good part of Geeky's game. Alexiak was fantastic tonight. Yet I like to see that, continuing to use his stick, use his long reach, use his long stick to check at the puck, and continuing to be physical. So definitely good to see. And then obviously the offensive production tonight from him was excellent. Stratic, the first goal had so many things: controlled zone entry instead of dump in when challenged, then an honest to gore tip in. Wow, yeah, it was great on that one. Again, that was one of those it just felt like one of those things we've seen 100 times go against us, and so to see it go for us was just like, ooh, love it, chef's kiss. Team can beat anyone in the league, maybe not in a playoff series though. That's from Shane. You never know. Playoff hockey is so different. I feel like this team could handle a playoff series maybe a little better than some other teams, but certainly if they were to make the playoffs, and this is still a long ways away, you're still talking 61 games away from now, they would most likely be a low seed, and they'd have to face a top team like a Vegas or a Colorado or most likely Vegas, and so it would just be hard to get through that kind of in general. But I do feel like their physicality and stuff, we talked a little bit about that yesterday at some point, their physicality and the idea of the dump and chase in those situations, it does wear down teams in playoff series, and it can lead to goals later in series if you can survive that long. Joey, Kraken have won 3 of their last 4. That's right. Getting hot. Coincidence again, not just with Will Borgen being in tonight, but coincidence, both goalies start getting better, Kraken start winning more games. Coincidence? I think not. Face-off's big tonight. RJ gonna hop on the stream. Yeah, talked about that. Unfortunately, not today. Sergeant Pickles just popping in to say hello, everyone. At a family thing, can't stay long. Amazing W though. Yes, it was Sergeant Pickles. Face-off win percentage was unreal tonight. Hard to sustain, but hope they can keep it up. That's from Lindsay. Yeah, a little hard to sustain winning, 80+% of the face-offs, but I do think that it's one of those things that I think those couple games before this road trip, and then certainly tonight, the whole team's building confidence. Goalies are obviously playing a lot more confidently. Defense is playing a lot more confidently. Forwards are starting to change things up a little bit and produce in some slightly different ways. And I think that confidence just kind of trickles down in all areas of everybody's game. And once they kind of smelled blood in the water tonight in the face-off circle from Florida, they weren't going to give it up, and they really kept it going. Panthers comically collided in their zone during the first power play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff that we'd seen the Kraken do, or at least other teams get away with, we were finally starting to get it, catch some of those breaks, take advantage of opposing teams' miscues and stuff like that. It's really nice to see. Even if they lost tonight, I would have been very pleased with their play tonight. Yeah, kind of like yesterday. Obviously disappointing result yesterday, but at the same time felt like the team played well in all areas and there wasn't too much to complain about, other than maybe Lauzon's turnover at the end there. But I agree with that. They played really well tonight, and I liked it. Alex, Panthers are legendarily bad on draws, even with Barkov. Yeah, it's not totally their skill, but I will probably never say anything bad about Sasha Barkov. That guy is unreal. He is very, very good. 2 for 3 versus Carolina, Tampa, and Florida. You take that every time. These are very good teams the Kraken are keeping pace with. Yeah, I agree with that. And 3 for 4 throwing Washington in there. It's not like they're pushovers either. So I think this has been, coming off the losing streak, none of us really, we could have predicted it, but I don't know how much we would have believed it. And it does feel like, things are changing around. They are becoming the team that we more so expected them to be at the beginning of the season. And that is nice. Hopefully they just didn't dig too much of a hole for themselves earlier with some of those losses against teams that, they're better than on paper. But yes, in these games so far, to run through that gauntlet of Carolina, Tampa, and Florida and to walk away with 4 points, take that every day of the week. And I think every team around the NHL would take that result too. I don't think anybody would expect to win all three of those games. Let's see. Will we ever see another overtime game? Oh, they'll happen at some point. Again, the whole regression to the mean that's been going on with the Kraken now. I'm sure overtime's going to kick in there at some point. Lindsay, don't worry about it. Of all the D, Dunn is playing the scariest, taking big chances when not needed. That's from Scott. Yes, but that's been his game, since before he got to Seattle. It's one of those things that you take that, you take that portion of bad with the portion of good. We haven't totally seen all of the good, some of those difference making offensive things that he can do haven't totally shown up for the Kraken so far this year, particularly on things like the power play, especially now with Gio out. He's up there on that top power play unit. I haven't felt like he's really taken command of that and really, worked hard to make things happen there. Definitely want to see that. But yes, there have been plenty of times where he's pinched up or gone for a puck and it's led to an odd man rush the other way, or tried making maybe a little bit of a scary, sketchy pass, to break out of their own zone, and maybe that results in a turnover. So I totally feel what you're saying there, Scott. It's one of those you take that and you hope that for as many of those opportunities you get some really wow moments in the offensive zone. Kraken goal defense was suffocating every time they got close to the net. That's from Mo Maggot. Yes, and that continued the trend from yesterday in that Tampa Bay game. Talked about it a lot through that live commentary. Kraken did an excellent job in front of their own net. And really they did tonight too, all except for that one time where Dunn let Hornquist, just kind of park himself in front of the net and get that redirect for the goal. It is, these days, the NHL, the parity, and especially when you're playing good teams like this, that's all it takes sometimes is that one defensive lapse, that one mistake, that one turnover, right? And the other team capitalizes on it, and it's a goal. And it just shows how hard it is to play in the NHL right now, and how skilled it is too. So, but it also means that any given night, the other team makes a mistake, you can take advantage of it and you can score a goal too. So it does also lead to a better hockey viewing experience, in my opinion. Finally got to see Borgen tonight. That's from Jagar. Yes, and it was awesome to see him. Love it. Love it. Hope we see him against Buffalo. Get his revenge game in there on Monday. That would be a lot of fun. And I think there's a good chance for that given the result tonight and how well he played. Alex, if this team can defend Florida's rushes, can defend anyone off the rush, yes. They did a good job handling Florida's rushes. Still a couple times where Florida got through some cracks and maybe overpowered them at times. And certainly there were times that Florida set up in the offensive zone for a little longer than I would like to see, particularly after we saw Tampa do that very easily for extended periods of time yesterday. But again, you're not going to be facing two of the top three teams in the league all the time, and particularly not on back-to-back nights. So I did see improvement on yesterday in that regard, and certainly with how aggressive Florida is with their rushes and with their forwards, it was a very, very good effort by the Kraken tonight. They played it about as well as anybody can play Florida. Um, yeah, and throwing in the caveat, anyone not named McDavid at least. Yes, McDavid is another animal. We've seen him score a couple goals where he's just going through like four defenders, making it look easy. That is definitely, that asterisk always needs to be there. Well, Borgen's finally been freed. Yep, hopefully he stays freed. Nathan Eberle's second goal was sneaky good on a tough angle, gave us much needed breathing room. Yanni setting that up was awesome too. Big moment. Yeah, and you could tell Yanni was a little frustrated. He didn't get any lift on that puck. If he had lifted it, it would have been his goal. But at the same time, for the Kraken to retain possession there, get the puck out to Eberle, and that was an insane angle on a backhand. I think it was Radko Gudas was there pinned up against the net. So really all Eberle was probably seeing realistically was about this much net. And to hit that on your backhand, knowing you have to lift it because Spencer Knight had everything on the low end covered. That was an impressive shot, and that's why he is the goal scorer that he is, and why we're so happy to have him on this team. Played Drieger for Sabres and Grubauer against Flyers and Oilers, or Grubauer for all three. I believe it's Detroit that's that middle game there. Gonna just confirm that right now. Yeah, so it's Buffalo on Monday, Detroit on Wednesday, Edmonton on Friday. I would consider after the performance tonight keeping Drieger in there just to build on that momentum, build on that confidence and everything. I don't know that Hextall will do that. I hope that he would, but he seemed to favor Grubauer through most of this season. But I definitely would want to see Drieger start either at Buffalo or at Detroit. I think it makes sense to just kind of split all these games on this road trip amongst everybody, and then look at all four road games when it comes to that Friday game against Edmonton. That's probably what I would do. So, I would consider giving Buffalo to Drieger, just keep the hot start going. Hopefully that continues. Start Grubauer in Detroit, and then make the call on Friday based on what you see through those next two games. That's what I would do. Shane, I'd be completely fine with trading Lauzon immediately. Yeah, the only problem is Lauzon hasn't exactly done much to increase his trade value, so I don't know what we could get for him. But it was good to see that Will Borgen came in and played well, because if Hextall isn't a fan of his, we at least now know, and there is some tape on him, so that would help with trade value for him. Appreciated Eberle say that goal was all Donskoy's on the Brute broadcast. Yeah, it was. So good to know that he gave him credit there, and it is definitely true. Donskoy made that happen. I agree. Lauzon should be traded immediately, for sure. For a pick, let's see. I'd take a bucket of practice pucks at this point. It's from Shane on the return for Lauzon. It's a good one. Did Gord and Wenberg swap places in the lineup? They technically didn't swap places as far as the lines, but they swapped wingers around a lot. So that's what you were seeing there. I'd have to see ice time wise and through all the special team stuff how exactly it all shaked out. But I do know the wingers were shuffled around again for this one. Let's see. Wenberg played 1650 and Gord played, where are you, 1717. So that's pretty usual for them at this point. Jared already pulled the trigger on a couple of those Gru shirts and tanks. Can't wait to get them. Awesome. Thanks so much for the support, Jared. Really appreciate that. Striatic, let's talk Ryan Donato. I thought he was great all over the ice today, and any player able to hang in front with the hands to tip it in is a beauty. Yeah, he was awesome. Like I said, his willingness to drive to the net, his ability to drive to the net, to power to the net, right? It's not even like, he kind of, sneaks his way past defenses. No, he just kind of barges in and he's like, I'm here. And we've, seen him be unlucky on rebounds earlier in the season, but his ability to be there, to have the hand-eye coordination for that tip in, that was awesome tonight. For his goal, and it's not just the in front of the net. His play behind the net is also good. He keeps the cycles going, and he makes good decisions back there with his back to basically the play. So I like to see that a lot from him. he set up some fun stuff tonight, just coming, with the puck from behind the net. So I thought Donato played an excellent game. Love having him back in the lineup. I do think the Kraken are better for it when Donato is in the lineup. And I love Calle Yarncroke, and I love everything he does. I think he's very underappreciated, but I do think and same with Colin Blackwell, but I do think that Donato brings that extra little something that no one else on the Kraken really has. Um, and I don't know that it's purely a power forward type makeup, but certainly his willingness to play around the puck, around the net, and the way he does it so smartly, I like that. Shane, Donato looks like he knows his chances are almost up in the NHL and is really pushing himself to be the best he can be. He's aggressive and pushes the offense. I agree with all of that. We've talked about that. Donato does look like he's playing that way. He knows that this is most likely his last shot, certainly at any sort of regular time in the NHL, and I do think he is taking advantage of it. And it's always hard to it's hard to argue against what he's been doing. And against that hunger. That's the word I've been looking for. Appleton got hit in the ankle on a shot block. A couple people bringing it up. That's why he was in pain. Awesome. Thanks for that. I appreciate that, Scott and Maggot. Stratic, I think we should try to extend Donato soon. I'm confident he's an NHL player. He's been good even when the team has been slipping. I want to try to get him signed cheap before hitting UFA. Yeah, I think unless he was to go on an absolute tear, he's probably going to be cheap even at the end of the season, just because he is going to be limited minutes-wise as far as what he can happen. Stratic also with the, and no, I'm not Ryan Donato's mom's burner account. That being said, yeah, I mean, I think he's earned it. I would agree with you there. I like what he brings. Like I've been gushing about him all night, but I don't know that we have to worry about him becoming a $5 million player AAV. If he sustains this over the course of the season. There's still a long history of him not quite living up to expectations and not stringing it together for long periods of time. So I don't know that, Ron Francis is going to totally get on board with that, make it a top priority right now. But I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying. Joey, not only poised, but they were attacking and staying in a defensive shell. That's what impressed me. They did a very good job in their handling the times the Panthers were in control in their offensive zone, in the Kraken's defensive zone. I agree with that. It was a good defensive performance from the Kraken tonight. Let's see, Shane, that back leg wasn't the only thing that Drieger was swinging tonight. That's for Shane, a good one there. Coaching staff deserving of a star in this game. Yeah, I thought the coaching staff has been pretty good last night and tonight. But especially tonight, I feel like this one team put it all together. But yes, we've mentioned them a couple times tonight, and it hasn't been in negative ways, which is usually how we bring them up. So yeah, I would throw one out to the video coach and stuff, because I saw a lot of improvement on a lot of the stuff we've seen them need to address. So I like that, Mo Maggot. Reading ID. Regarding Appleton, my non-hockey friend watched the game with me and commented, "How did he get over there? Wasn't he just on the other end? What position is he?" Yeah, I question what position he is all the time when he's out there. He is, but he's very fast, and he gets himself involved in the play no matter what. That is something you could say about him. Usually that's a good thing. But yes, thanks for bringing that up. That is fun. Eberle coming on well. Yes, he is, Mal. Florida was very aggressive on the first PK. They were, and it bit them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the price you pay. I get it. They were trying to take advantage, try to get something going shorthanded. It looked like they might there at the beginning too, but it ended up biting them at the end there. Obviously getting that power play goal with 3 seconds left on the penalty. Jagar, more and more people join the live after every game. I'm happy for you guys to get more people in here. Thanks, Jagar. That means a lot. And yeah, these have been going really, really well. Thanks to everybody who continues to join us, and for all the new people joining us. Definitely appreciate having you all here. Joshua, since Tanev broke the stick going into the second intermission, this team has seemed like a different team starting in that third period. So that's obviously referencing a couple of games ago. But I think you're right. And, how many times during that losing streak did I say, one of those things that needs to happen? Somebody needs to get pissed off. Somebody needs to go around that room, make everybody feel uncomfortable, but also fire them up, get them out of it. Obviously, Tanev showed that passion there when he just slammed his stick over the boards, broke it in half. If he went in the locker room and did something like that, good for him. And yes, you're totally right that since that happened, this team has been on fire. They've been playing with confidence, with poise, just playing better. Like that, at the end of the day, that's the big takeaway, is that they are just playing better since then. So very good to bring that up, Joshua. Thank you for that. Team Spindles, Appleton seemed to step up his performance tonight, blocking shots, stealing pucks, and breakaways. Yeah, talked about him several times now. Good game from Appleton. Everyone thought we would have lost all 4 of these games, but we've won 3 out of 4. Let's go Kraken from Jagar. Yeah, for sure. And that was certainly the tone of the Florida Panthers broadcast tonight, it seemed like, was that they were a little surprised by how well the Kraken were. I don't know how much tape they had watched on them. They just kind of looked at the record and were like, okay. Nathan, it's just so ironic that we're the one team's first win and another's first home loss. Yes, obviously we gave Arizona their first win of the season, but we got the L on the board for the Panthers at home. It's just the way things go. The ups and downs of a season, right? Rexology definitely felt like maybe this is just who the team is during the losing streak. Not sure 3 wins in this 4 is this team either, but nice to know there is more to the team than they were showing. I agree with that, right? Talking a lot about, right, is it coincidence that as the goalies get hot, the team is playing so much better and getting wins? There's something to that. Just like with teams that get hot and cold and go through ups and downs, goalies certainly do, and that does massively affect the team's overall ups and downs. So I do think that there is something to that. That being said, I do think on paper this is a team that should be able to hang with most top teams, like they have been. So whether or not they're going to have, a 75% win percentage against top teams, yeah, that's probably a little high for this group. But at the same time, I do think we're closer to this team than we were to the losing team, as long as everybody stays confident through any adversity that they're going to face from here on out. As long as they continue to believe in themselves and trust each other, all the cliche coach speak stuff, but it does play a role. So I would be willing to say we're closer to this team. Everybody's playing well, getting some breaks go our way. Part of that losing streak was just we were like historically unlucky, both offensively and defensively. So I think we're certainly closer to a 500 team than a sub 500 team. That's for sure. I think we're above 500 team. But that's definitely something to keep an eye on, Rexology, as things continue to even out with the larger sample size. This is from Lindsay. If we can keep this momentum going and beat Buffalo and Detroit, we might be able to contain Edmonton and pull out a win on Friday. Manifesting it. I sure hope you're right, Lindsay. That would be awesome. And I hope so too. And Edmonton's tough, right? We've played well against them in the past, at least as far as taking away McDavid. Draisaitl came out to bite us in that situation, but it was still a pretty decent game. And then coming down into the super chat, Hockey Mom, thank you so much for that super chat. That is awesome. Greatly appreciated from you. No message though, so if you got something to say, go ahead and throw it in there. I will definitely make sure to read it. Popping back up to Irish Lad, is Blackwell injured? If not scratched for Shahan is a long way down. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I was busy doing some stuff this morning. I know RJ was a little more on things. It's also possible that after yesterday Blackwell had some issues, so maybe just settling him down a little bit, and then bring in Shahan, just because you need that center, someone who's a little more used to playing center in that position. They haven't, they've liked Geeky on the wing. I've liked Geeky on the wing right now. So just to bring in a more true center and settle things down there. And it obviously worked. So, but yes, I don't know if Blackwell's injured. Obviously he had some issues staying on his feet yesterday, but we'll see. And then Hockey Mom couldn't figure out how to make it 20 1999. Thanks for covering it tonight by yourself. No worries, Hockey Mom. And thanks again for the super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Joshua, I hope so. Lindsay, I'm going to miss the Buffalo game. We'll be at the Seahawks game on Monday night. Just hoping I can get decent reception at FedEx Field so I can watch during the low points. Yeah, I do hope you enjoy the game on Monday night, Joshua. Hopefully, Seahawks look better than they've been maybe the last couple games. Russ can get going. But yes, hopefully you'll be able to keep track of things as you're there. Jared, if you will it, it is no dream. I like that. Nathan, final comment. I forgot until about halfway through the game. This was also the Checkers series. That is right. Both these teams share an AHL affiliate in the Charlotte Checkers. And, so that is something that's interesting. I forget who it was that was called up by Florida for this game. Called up same day as Shahan for the Kraken. So, that's always a fun thing to see when both teams get somebody up. Your teammates yesterday playing against each other in the NHL tonight. It is just fun when that happens. What did you see out of Riley Shahan? Should Blackwell stay out of the lineup? I like Blackwell a lot. I don't know about him staying at center long term. Center is a really, really difficult job to have in the NHL. And I think some of the aspects of Blackwell's game that I enjoy most are kind of his, his ability to be a little bit more free on the ice and find shooting lanes and find empty pockets to set himself up in. And when you're a center, you're kind of more locked into specific roles while out there. So I think for me, Blackwell suits being a winger more. So in the situation of needing kind of four true centers, I like having Shahan in the lineup over Blackwell, in situations like that. And, that helped contribute tonight in the faceoff circle, right? I mean, there is something to be said for that. Overall, I like Blackwell as a player a lot more than Riley Shahan. I think Shahan has a limited ceiling. And that is why he's been like kind of the prototypical journeyman throughout his career, bouncing around. I think he's played on 11 NHL teams. So yes, I want to see Blackwell back in. I just don't necessarily want to see him back at center. And I like Geeky on the wing too. So that does kind of create a little bit of a hole in that fourth line center spot. So if that means Shahan's got to be up here, at least certainly while Yarncroke's injured, then I think that he should play there. Shane, I got to get out of here, but it was awesome to finally make it to one of these post-game chats. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, Shane. Enjoyed having you. The Colorado game changed our mentality, and it made us realize that we have to start putting the pieces together. That's from Jagar. That did feel like a rock bottom moment. Obviously, none of us were super confident going into that Colorado game, but to have it go as poor as it did, I do think that was their rock bottom moment that made them all come together. So I definitely agree with you there, Jagar. Let's see. Anybody know what happened to the Kraken Fan Labs channel? Seemed to disappear overnight. I do not know. So sorry about that, Irish lad. If anybody else knows in chat, you can bring that up. Let Irish lad know. Otherwise, Lindsay, my laptop's about to die, so I'm going to head out soon. Good night to all, and let's go Kraken. See you, Lindsay. No worries. I think I'm going to go ahead and get going here too. Chat's died down. Another good stream coming up on the hour. Awesome win from the Kraken. Love taking 2 points out of this Florida swing. Super, super good job by them. Played an awesome game tonight. All three facets of the game. Totally enjoyed it. Great to, have two hot goaltenders back, two goalies that we can all believe in again. That's definitely been appreciated. So it's been a lot of fun. On to Buffalo on Monday. Hopefully we can keep this thing rolling, and we'll definitely be here. RJ should be back for that one after that Buffalo game, so we will see you all there. One last comment here from Jared. Legitimately enjoy and look forward to these post games. Thank you for doing these. Hey, thank you so much for being here and for supporting this, for all of you. It's what lets us keep doing this, so definitely glad to be here. I enjoy it a ton. And I know RJ does too. So thank you, everybody. We will see you all on Monday.